Hello everyone. In this video, let's try to explore one confusing topics for all the Power BI developers, that's pivot and unpivot columns. Okay, let's try to understand this. This is my sample table product with the data product Jan Feb. For each month, I have the sales data for particular product. Pen in January, 100 pens are sold. For pencil in January 150, for February 180. Okay, according to my analysis, I need this column into rows or rows into columns. This is according to my analysis. Okay, for example, here let's try to explore this in a slide. Okay, this is my data. Okay, product Jan Feb, each month I have separate data. Okay, imagine that totally 12 months or that, then the data may be long, right? For each month it have the data. Okay, it packed with each product for each month, what's the sales. In this case, if you want this to be unpacked, okay, like for each pen, what's the month, what's the sales, like that. If you want to unpack this, you want to transform this column into rows, then go for the option unpivot. Okay, let's try to do that here. Click on this Jan and Feb. Okay, by clicking control I am selecting these two columns and click on unpivot. Translate all but currently unselected columns into attribute values pair. Okay, here in unpivot drop down symbol, here you can see three options are there. If you want to unpivot columns, means selected columns will be unpivoted. All the columns will be unpivoted. If you want to pivot other columns, means selected column will stay same, remaining columns only unpivoted. If you want to unpivot only the selected columns, then this two column only be transformed. Here you can see this column as it is, only the Jan Feb is unpivot. Let's try to explore other option, unpivot other column. Then Jan Feb as it is, the product pen and pencil is unpivoted. Let's try to select this two and unpivot columns. It will unpivot the selected columns. Okay, this is how unpivot columns work. Okay, simply if you want to transform columns into rows, go for unpivot. If you want to unpack the data, go for this. Now it's easy for you to predict the total sales, right? You can see the source data here. If you want to see the total sales of the pen, it's impossible, right? All the data is in the rows. You can't aggregate it, you can't sum it, right? Here you can see the sum is disabled. How can you then calculate the total sales of pen and report it to your manager or any CEO? It's not possible, right? For that only we just unpivoted this column and we have the sales values in separate column, so that now it's easy for you to sum it up and see the value 550 is the total sales. Okay, this is how unpivot works. Now imagine you have this particular data. Okay, for each product each month the sales values are there. This is like in larger rows, row wise it's larger, previously column wise it's larger, now row wise it's larger data. Okay, now you want to pack this data. How can you do that? By using the pivot. You want to convert the rows into columns. Now you can do this. Okay, for example, here you want to count the products, how much products are there. Okay, and the month here and the values are here. Okay, now this is larger in rows perspective. You can see pencil is repeated, pen is repeated. You don't want like this. Okay, you want separate month data. In that case you can go for a pivot columns. Okay, click on transform and pivot column. Here it will ask which column you want to pivot it. Okay, I am selecting the month column and I want to pivot it for a sales, that means values. Okay, now you can see for January how many sales you can able to calculate, for February how many sales you can able to calculate now. Okay, This is how pivot works. Simply, in simple terms, pivot means packed data. You want to pack it, go for pivot. You want to unpack it, go for unpivot. If you want to convert rows to columns, go for pivot. If you want to convert columns to rows, go for unpivot. This is totally depends on your requirement for your reporting. Okay.